Meow and hello, yours truly, the Cat Protector here from Cat Galaxy Radio, and you're listening to In the Cat's Eyes, or actually watching In the Cat's Eyes. And with me right now is a veteran actor, Vernon G. Wells. It's kind of like the Fred G. Sanford, from Sanford and Son.
Yeah.
You were in The Road Warrior, you did Commando, you reprised a role from Road Warrior in Weird Science.
Yes.
How did that happen?
It was one of those things. I'd done Road Warrior, and I was living in Australia, and I actually did some television over there, but I really wasn't that interested in acting. I was more interested in directing, so I had got out of acting into directing commercials, and I directed a couple of short films. And my agents rang me up one day and said, these people in America are really interested in you doing this film called Weird Science, and you would be reprising your role of Wes, but it would be a comedy. And I went, I wish them a lot of luck. I wasn't really interested, especially coming to America. It was like, you've got to be kidding. I'm leaving somewhere where I'm safe to go there, where there's all these people. No, ain't going to happen. And God bless the producers, Joel Silver, who just persisted in getting me to do the show. And eventually my manager, she was retiring, and she sort of said, you're the only client I've got who has a chance of doing this, so please, just for me, would you do it? So basically I did it because I felt obligated to come over. And when I came over, of course, everything was totally different to everything I'd ever thought it was going to be over here. I had a ball doing the film. I got taken around, introduced to people, and Joel Silver, the producer, was doing another film after that called Commando. And he had introduced me to the director, who was not interested in using me because he thought that I would do it too much like Wes out of Road Warrior. And they cast somebody else, started the film, and I was actually having a night of lust and debauchery when there was a knock on the door of this apartment that I was in, and when I opened the door, it was a very good friend of mine saying, I have this phone call from America. This guy called Joel Silver is saying that there is a ticket for you at the Melbourne airport, you to get on a plane and fly to Los Angeles within the next 24 hours. And I was like, what? And I flew to Los Angeles, and they had apparently dismissed the actor who was playing the role, and Joel had decided he wanted me to do it. Which, once again, it's all the luck of the draw. You can be at the right place at the right time, and you get to do these things, which for me was amazing. So I did Commando, and that led on to many other films. And I guess over the last 20 odd years that I've been here in the States, I've managed to accumulate 120 something features that I've been involved in. So I consider myself extraordinarily lucky. And then last year I was asked if I would participate in a new web series. I've never done a web series. I've never really been interested in doing a web series. And they sent me the material on Western X and asked me if I'd be interested in doing it. And I leapt at the chance because I loved the idea of the show, loved the character, fell in love with the director and the way he spoke about it. He was so passionate about what he wanted to do, and he's one. You get excited when the people you're talking to are excited and really involved in what they're doing. It's not that same blasé crap that you get from people who just want to hire you because you've got a name or they can use something. When you genuinely hear somebody who on the end of the phone is like just so excited about the whole thing, it draws you in and you go, you know what, this could be fun. And after doing it, I think it's just bloody tremendous. I'm really impressed, love doing it, and I think it's going to be a super, super big show on the internet.
But you're playing you play a host of bad guys, because Bennett, probably one of the all-time favorite bad guys from what I've heard. I've heard that he is a big bad guy. Now you've lined up. What movies have you been in that were like the most fun to do for you? Was Western X, because this thing Western X, I have to admit, is kind of changing things a little bit, because it's taking the love of people remember Westerns, and they're taking the post-apocalyptic kind of thing and saying, wow, and taking it back to kind of the old West days, has people said it's a lot like the Postman? I mean, do people get that in their head?
It's not like the Postman, because the Postman never went back to a situation of where the world had drifted back to the West.
Yeah.
The fun thing about this is that Michal has created a whole world, regardless of whether it's here or somewhere else, that has established itself after the apocalypse. So it becomes post-apocalyptic, and the world has gone backwards, and it's settled on this era of the West. And that's where it's settled. And it's so you've got this kind of steampunkish look at things. You've got the sort of surreal thing. You're never quite sure of what's going on in it. There could be werewolves. You don't know. I mean, and this is the great thing about it, is because it combines all these different genres into the Western.
Yeah.
And it makes it a whole different kettle of fish. Normally someone comes to me, they go, oh, we're doing a Western. It's guys with guns, they rob the bank, they get shot.
But is the General your favorite bad guy?
Oh, I love the General. I think he's really sweet. He's kind of cool. He's going to get a lot cooler, believe me. Isn't he, Michael?
Yes.
Yes, he's going to get a lot cooler. No.
Get cooler.
Yeah, I like him because he's not really the bad guy in perception of he goes out and kills people.
He's misunderstood?
I think totally misunderstood. But I think mostly with the General is that he is a dynasty. There's been, before him, there's probably been 10 or 15 other generals in his family who have been born into this role of commanding this whole area that he oversees. So he's like he is the favored son. It becomes the General. So, I have one son, I believe, who's a total lunatic, who doesn't want to be involved. He wants to get out of it because he hates what we do. So the line or the lineage of the generals could finish with me right there. It could all end. So you have all these wonderful little things coming on into the whole series. That's what makes it intriguing.
So how does it make you feel knowing that your Western X is not only going to be viewed by humans, but cats as well? Because cats like to watch TV.
Oh, well, I'm into cats.
You've got...
Man, there's not a pussy I don't like. I'm here to tell you. I'm sorry. It's just...
It's allowable. It's allowable. We like to have fun with this. But do you have animals at home? I mean,
yes, I have a little dog. He's 6 months old now. He's a cross. He's like a corgi, chihuahua, terrier mix. Highly intelligent and a pain in the ass.
But no cats.
I had 2 cats, which when I first came to America, I called them Foster and Lager, Foster's Lager beer. And one lived to be 17, the other lived to be 21. And then they passed away, and I really haven't had the heart to get another one. I've just kind of, let it go at that. And now I have this little dog who's kind of a cat in his own way.
Because how does it make you feel? I mean, you're here at Comic-Con. I see a lot of your production, people that have worked on the production of Western X. I'm seeing the fans are getting reacquainted with you. Some remember you fondly from the Road Warrior, Commando, all of that. Is this the most fun that you've ever had?
Oh,
I mean, is this ultimately the most fun you ever had? I mean, who doesn't like horses and
nothing compares to this. I mean, good God, I haven't had this much fun since my last hysterectomy. I mean, it's just out of control. I mean, seriously. No, this is a lot of fun. I love riding horses. I love being with these people, and it is a lot of fun. I mean, my whole theory is, and I've expressed this to Michal, is that the General should get rid of everybody, and we should recast it with all girls that are topless.
Yeah.
And that then we should really and the General should become a cholo, and he should do it, like with his whole Mexican flavor.
Is that going to be on the 20th episode? Or are we going to see all that on the 20th episode?
He's a Mexican.
I'm actually a Mexican, and it's a Mexican Australian. We all went across there. You see, what can I tell you?
Well, because what movie is not on the board? You've done comedy, haven't you?
I've done everything.
Comedy? I read online and that you had done something with Cheech Marin.
Yes, I did.
And what movie was that?
The Boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
And it was so much fun. Cheech Marin is just out of control, wonderful human being. Love him.
So it wasn't called anything different here.
I think it might have been.
What was the name you brought?
I said Shrimp on the Barbie.
Yeah, that's what it was called here.
Really?
Yes.
So yeah, I remember. So I was dead on.
Yeah,
I was
Shrimp
dead
the
on.
Barbie. Oh, get over it. Yes, it was called Shrimp on the Barbie here. And it was with Cheech, and I just had a ball with him.
Because you played what, Bruce?
I played Bruce.
You played Bruce.
Yes,
I
my
remember
favorite
that.
thing was having a beer can in my hand and saying, "Get it out of her pants and into your mouth."
And did that come from you, or did that come from them?
I believe it came from the director, because I would never say
So-
anything like that. I mean, I'm just so nice to women. I'm clean cut. I go to church every other millennium.
Because I love that movie. I did love Shrimp on the Barbie.
It's cool.
Because I got a lot of laughs, and I thought that your character was just the way you played him was pretty brilliant.
It was kind of
I
fun.
mean, you played an obnoxious character, but he was a bad guy, but he wasn't really a bad guy. He was just kind of a
fathead.
He was just
shit.
Bruce.
Yes.
He was just Bruce.
Yeah, he was fun.
Well,
we got to wrap it up. The director's doing this.
and
thing.
Dustin Hale is here.
Who?
Dustin Hale.
Who's he?
Yeah. You act with
Dustin
him.
Hale?
Yeah.
He's in something?
Yeah, he is Western X.
Western X, he wears a hat.
And he's X. Maybe we should. That's what I should have called him.
You know
was
why
X.
they call him X? Because he can't read. All his dialogue is
So Vernon, look forward.
pictures. We have to write his script with pictures.
So Vernon, thank you for being here. I think it's great. It's great to see you.
My pleasure.
After all these years, it really is.
I
So,
love it.
we're going to bring Dustin
One
in.
day, to surprise everybody, I'm actually going to act in something.
Well, somebody might actually dress up as the General at some Comic-Con. Might get to be so popular.
Ooh,
the
wouldn't that
characters.
be cool?
Maybe I should do it. Can you guys lend me the costume? I'll dress up as the General.
Okay, I'm going now. It's been really nice seeing you. And to all the pussies out there, love you.
Yeah. Here I am with Dustin Hale. He's a local.
I am local.
You've done stuff at Rawhide, because you remember when it was here in when it was in Scottsdale.
Yes.
Then moved to the entire other side of the planet,
Yes.
across Maricopa County.
I remember when they opened it up. I remember working there a month beforehand, trying to get everything ready and trying to get our stage ready, and it was an insane time.
And you play one of the lead characters in this, X.
I play X. I don't know my name. I just kind of wake up and they just kind of name me as X because I have no name.
So you kind of have that Total Recall thing going.
Kind of a
You
total
don't
recall
really
thing. I don't know if
know.
I'm good, if I'm bad. I just got a feeling I'm supposed to be looking for something, but
The whole storyline is basically about X, really kind of finding his real life here and just kind of piecing everything back together.
piecing it back together. Yes, that's exactly it. There's a little more to it. There's more in-depth story about different characters coming up, and I'm just kind of a piece of it because it kind of starts everything off with a big boom and rattle, and all of a sudden it's just like, where am I? And it just kind of spawns from there.
It's a little different than doing stunts at Rawhide, isn't
It is a lot different. Doing it with Western X, you get take twos and take threes and take fours. And when you're doing a live show, you got one take to get it right.
So if you break your arm, you got to do it right in a live show.
The show goes on. I actually got hit here, 6 stitches, busted me open, and I had to finish the show.
It's funny that I heard that animals didn't survive the apocalypse in Western X, but yet there's horses.
Well, yeah, actually, I don't get this either. The black coats have horses. I got spurs on and saddlebags, and I walk everywhere. I'm going to have a talk with the director on that.
No cars in this.
No cars.
I mean,
yeah.
I guess that would be pretty hard.
Well, they can work on methane fuel and type deal. And
Well, you could ask Vernon. I mean, he was in the Road Warrior. They found a
Yeah,
way.
that's
They
how
found
I
a way
do
to
it. I
have
got to
fuel,
talk to
right?
him, yeah.
What was it like to work with Vernon?
he's an amazing guy. Very down to earth, very funny. He's just very down to earth guy. I don't know how else to say it. He's just great.
He didn't bring out Bruce from Shrimp on the Barbie, obviously.
No, not yet, but we got more episodes coming up.
What I find interesting is that when you went to Rawhide, you ended your run at Rawhide, and then you get into this. This is obviously a big beginning for you. I mean, what's it like to really kind of go from one thing where you're doing the live shows, you're doing this. Obviously, you have retakes. Are you doing your own stunts in this too?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I am when I do stunts. But my character right now doesn't. But I'm sure something will be coming up. But yes, I'll be doing it myself. No stunt doubles or anything. It's actually been really kind of cool. Like you said, going from doing live shows and one takes to getting involved in this has just been an extraordinary move, and you just can't get that kind of exposure.
So has it been interesting to the point, because this is starting out a little differently than most series start out. Usually they start out DVD, they might go to a movie, maybe a TV movie. This one's going on the internet. You think that's really going to be a big boost for
I think it
Western
is actually. If you look at the way media is going right now, that's what everybody's starting to do is their own web shows. And and like you said, usually they start off with a DVD or a movie or something like that, and they break it down into something, but it's all going directly to that. Something where people don't want to get out of the house to go to a movie theater or go rent a DVD. They want to just walk over to their computer and pop something up right then and there. And so that's where everything's really headed.
And how does it make you feel knowing that it's not going to be just humans that watch this? Cats will watch it too.
I love it. I got 3 cats of my own.
You do?
I do.
So what's the cat's name?
Which one?
All of them. What are all their names?
We got Matt the cat.
Okay.
We got Missy because she's just a bitch. And we got China, our newest little baby we just rescued, and all kinds of character going on.
I think it's wonderful because this is a real true local story here of somebody that is going to make it big. Now, are you predicting that maybe at some point at one of these comic conventions that there's going to be characters dressed as X, and how will that make it real? Because that's the potential right here, is that you might have people dressing up as X.
Yes, and at this particular Comic-Con, I've been dressing up all the days except for today. I'm just worn out today, so you get the hat, and that's
well, we got the photos. We got the photo, the full photo. Now, to kind of wrap things up, what would you do to convince people to watch this that really have never gotten into Westerns?
Wow. If you love Clint Eastwood, if you love those spaghetti westerns, all the weird westerns and sci-fi westerns, anything like that, check out westernxtheshow.com. Follow along, because by episode 18, you're going to be glued to your computer going, whoa.
And they're really short. They're 6 minutes long.
About 6 minutes long.
6 minutes long each episode. Will it grow from there, hopefully?
Hopefully. Right now, we don't want to really push the viewers' attention too much beyond that, because after about 6 minutes, 7 minutes, the viewer's like, okay, I'm bored. What else is going on?
As long as it doesn't end in a cliffhanger. Those are the worst. Because it leaves you wondering.
Well, I'm not at liberty to say what's going to be happening, but there will be several more seasons of Western X coming up.
And that's good news.
That's very good.
That's good news, because it shows the way that these web movies are really being played out. You can go for as long as you want to, and you don't have to worry about syndication.
That's right.
And all that. You guys can syndicate it yourself and not have to worry about that.
And Mike Flores, the creator of Western X, is just a pure genius when it comes to writing out shows, making sure he wants to capture it the right way on camera. And really, to me, it's all about his vision. People ask me, what's my motivation? My motivation is to do what my director tells me to do. That's my motivation. I want to keep myself.
Do they let you keep the costume?
Yes, actually, the costume's mine, actually.
Oh, really? So you made your own costumes and everything?
It was actually Part of a costume I wore at
Seriously,
Rawhide.
it's
Oh,
20
wow.
minutes
So
later.
that
We
is
supply
big.
our own costumes out at Rawhide, so
Took a piece of your past with
took a
you.
piece of my past. I brought several outfits, and Mr. Flores pieced it together and says, this is what I want my character to look like.
You're like, oh, yeah.
And that's what I've been wearing the last couple of years.
So Western X, watch it. I'm going to watch it. I definitely going to be glued to my seat, I think. And, all the best to you.
Bye-bye, Dustin. I will, sweetheart.
See, that's the way it is, the camaraderie. I already feel it already, and I'm not even a part of the cast. So
Well, like I said, Vernon he's just absolutely wonderful. I mean, you really can't find anybody better than him. He really is great.
So, Dustin, good luck to you.
Thank you.
I'm going to look forward to watching this.
Oh, you won't be disappointed. I guarantee it.
I'm with Michael Flores, who created Western X. There's a bit of excitement here about this because this is something that I think a lot of people are looking to if they haven't seen it. When you initially decided on Western X and create Western X, was it the your initial thing to actually just release it on the internet and see what happens, or go to DVD, or
The original idea was I was just messing around with footage. I wanted to experiment with my visual effects, building models, working with some map shots. And originally I wasn't really going to even shoot anything. It was just going to be me messing around a little bit with like a little bit of a story, maybe the first episode that I wrote. And then when I started posting stuff on MySpace at the time, I got a lot of people like, wow, this looks really great, man. These shots, what show is this? And all these people just started like hitting up my MySpace, and I was like, there's something to this. Maybe I'm gonna go back and write, episodes 2 through 20 or 2 through 18, and that's what happened originally. And then we got Vernon Wells in the project after the first 2 episodes were done being shot as one of our main villains, and it just kind of grew, and and who knows, we may end up somewhere else besides the internet. But I know the internet's where it's at right now, so only the future will tell.
I've heard that it's going to go beyond 2 years. So.
Yeah, we got about 7 seasons already. So,
that's a good
as far
sign.
as I'm concerned, we're doing it. So, especially if we keep getting the reception that we're getting on episodes 1 through 4, with the premiere last night, I got a lot of good things being said as well. So as long as we're, getting the reception that we're getting, then keep doing it.
So you're not getting any kind of strange requests from people saying, I want to get Dustin's, photo with Dustin, or his home address.
Oh yeah. We've got some stalkers. Oh, definitely.
Really? Already?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Even like with our guy, I think the guy that plays Lobo in Western X, he's actually in episode 4, and he's also doing a spin-off, the 6 Gun for Lobo, which is going to be a spin-off of Western X.
Already a spin-off, and it's only 4 seasons,
Exactly.
4 episodes in.
Oh yeah. So because there's a whole story there's a whole story as to why we even did the spin-off, but I'll explain that later. But he's got stalkers. Dustin got stalkers. I got stalkers. It's the internet, man.
I don't have stalkers.
It's all about stalking.
I'm lucky. I don't have stalkers.
Hey, that's what Facebook's for, man.
The cats may have some stalkers. This whole thing with Western X, it's taking the post-apocalyptic kind of feeling, mixing it in with the old westerns. Were you a fan of the old westerns?
Oh, huge fan, man. Huge fan of the westerns. I love, my favorite is the spaghetti westerns, the old western of the 70s with Sergio Leone and Sergio Corbucci, I believe you say his name. I probably messed that up. A lot of the old Italian cinema from the 60s. It was great. And especially the Weird West. I love the Weird West genre, which is a lot of people still aren't too familiar with what Weird West actually is. When they say, what genre is this technically? I would call it Weird West, because basically anything, if it's a Western and it's something weird in it, like a witch or sorcerer or magic of some kind, or futuristic or apocalyptic, what is it? Weird West.
So it's going to be morphing into something different each time.
Yeah, the show is definitely a Western. Like it has the Western characters, like the hero, and it has the Western story as a whole. But when you really dig deep into the heart of the story, you'll see that it's very similar to the fantasy epics as well, like Lord of the Rings and what Tolkien has created. It's like just like those movies have huge casts and all kinds of characters, and that's what we're going to slowly do. We're slowly going to see how X is important, He's very important. He's the thread, or the needle that takes the thread through the whole entire storyline. But then you have all these separate stories taking place that all lead into one scene in season 7. So they all connect.
So it's shot. Get this, entirely in Arizona.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it's just
definitely all in Arizona.
And you're using probably a lot of local talent as well.
We're using a lot of local talent. Yeah, definitely. And all of them are except we brought in Deneen Melody. She's from Chicago, and Vernon Wells is from Los Angeles. Everyone else is pretty much based out of Arizona.
I want to be X. I think this would be great for Halloween, because by the time you get to next year at Comic-Con, you could have a ton of people dressing up as the characters.
Yeah, I think definitely, because by next year we're going to have all 18 episodes out. I think it's going to attract a lot bigger audience as well. Because, like I said, I was surprised this time. I wasn't expecting a lot. We got a lot of attention, so it's good. I'm happy.
And the media? How's it?
It's good.
The media friendly for you?
Yeah. Especially because everything, again, it's all about new media, which is all going to the net. Radio shows, internet shows. Everyone wants to grab a piece of a upcoming web series. I've noticed, like, oh, you guys are a web series, excellent. Let's do an interview. Anna looks really good. I always get that. Anna looks good too. I'm like, yeah, it looks good.
Now you can have people send stuff in. Have you had people say, I've got this idea for Western X? For an episode?
I have had people asking if they would like if I'm looking for writers. Oh man, I would love to write for a show like this. I had people like that. It's actually at least 6 different people actually sent me within the last, I'd say the last 3 months.
And are you taking any other ideas? Or are you going to say?
I'm always open to that. Like, if we get a bigger budget next season, because the story is written, the story. Now, when it comes, if I have get the bigger budget that I want for second season, then I'm going to bring in a staff of writers. Because right now it's me writing, but I think, don't reinvent the wheel. Just like in all TV shows, it's a writing staff. Like, if I have the budget, I'm going to bring in a writing staff. Because that's how it should be. You should have a bunch of brains working on a huge story like this.
And how not a lot of animals in this except horses. Obviously, there's horses.
There are animals. I know some people are getting the whole pestilence. I don't know how that started. There is a pestilence. I don't explain it necessarily. It's kind of like, it is an apocalyptic, a post-apocalyptic Western type. Yeah. But we don't necessarily talk about it too much. We'll talk about it in episode 2, or season 2, I should say. The biggest thing is that there is a pestilence, and there isn't a lot of horses. So it's almost like a sense of nobility. The noble people have horses. So that's why in this story, the only people who have horses are the Blackcoats, because they are on the higher of the food chain in this world. They are the shit. They're in charge. So not everybody has horses because it's kind of like a benefit. The higher, just like not everybody has Porsches. It's the upper class citizens who have the horse.
So a lot of us are going to have to watch the series to find out.
Exactly.
You might get that one fan that says, I love cats. I've been waiting for 2 seasons, and they finally added one.
A cat. Hey, dude, I'll put a cat in if you want next time.
Oh, yeah, and I'll watch that episode. But I think it's wonderful that what you're doing with Western X. I wish you a lot of luck with it. I think it's great. I have ideas that I'd love to send in. Yeah.
Do it.
But I don't know. Michael, you might not take my calls. You might get so big, But
No.
Good luck with it. Is there, just to kind of finalize things, what would you say to the person that says, I'm not so sure about it? Convince me to watch Western X.
Well,
we've already put in the meat, but some people like some whole spice on the side. So
well, if you don't like it, then
watch something else.
No, honestly, the only reason why you wouldn't like it is if it's just not your thing, because it's shot well, it's well acted, it's produced well, everything's done pretty well, and I'm pretty picky about stuff. That's why it's taken 36 months, because I'm very picky on what I release. And it's a project that has cowboys. You're gonna see magic eventually. I hate saying magic; it sounds so cheesy, but in my own way, it's magic. You're gonna see cowboys. You're gonna see gunfighting. You're gonna see a little bit of vampire elements, even though there's no vampires. Again, watch it to figure out what it is. There's cannibalism. And it's not a horror.
I don't know if you want to do cannibalism.
No, it's not cannibalism, but it's this world. There's not just humans. There's creatures in this world.
Yeah.
So why do you not want to see cowboys and creatures and sorcery and all kinds of cool shit.
You may end up with a dragon and a sea monster.
You never know.
You know, it's like whatever, you're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink.
The seasons are. We have 7 more seasons, so.
And it looks from what you're saying, it sounds to me like you're really pleased with the way it turned out. That your creation is.
I'm happy with it so far.
Well, Michael, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Watch Western X. I'm going to take my time to watch Western X, and I'll tell you, I'll give you my opinion by the 5th episode.
Definitely.
So hopefully I'll be able to write you.
Yeah, watch it soon.
Okay. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.